Good afternoon and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and this is Sugar the Cat. Sugar, who's a good sugar cat? You're a good sugar cat. You silly potato cat. So, I hope all of you enjoyed yesterday's video of me making a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. You know, doing it the blind way. It was a lot of fun to make that video. I've been thinking about making that video for a while and just never got around to it. And yesterday I figured, I'm hungry and I feel like doing it finally. So I hope that you all enjoy it. And please, check that video out if you haven't checked it out already. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Uh, do all the things. Help me raise awareness for the blind and the visually impaired through alternative means and methods. So today we're talking about a predacon, not just any predacon, an actual Terracon pretending to be a predacon. Yeah, this is layers of Transformers here. We're talking multiple layers of conspiracy going on with this guy. And of course, I'm talking about Tarantulas. Tarantulas is the mad scientist of Beast Wars, but he's more than that. He's whoa. His plans were Lex Luthor-esque. It was something that was all of his plans were deep. They took a couple of seasons to come to fruition, and they were truly evil. He was one insane scientist on the evil side, like Dr. Mindbender, but for Transformers. And, the Transformers didn't have many, the Decepticons or the Terracons or the Predacons don't really have that many scientists. I look at look back on all of the Transformers that they've done, and you'll see that the amount of scientists or intellectuals is lackluster when it comes to the Decepticons, the Terracons, and the Predacons, especially the Predacons and the Terracons, who have more on the lines of crazy beasts than actual scientists and engineers. So Tarantulas here was a good addition to Megatron's forces in Beast Wars, but Megatron had no idea he was a spy. And Sugar, can you move over? People want to see Tarantulas. Thank you. No, no, they don't want to see your butt either. Come on, yeah, yeah. Just make that last step. There you go. Yes, who's a good sweet cat? Who's a sweet potato? Who's a sweet potato? You are. All right. So that's the kind of the thing about Tarantulas here is he is a crazy mad scientist, and if it wasn't for him, not everything would have happened the way it happened in Beast Wars. He did a lot, and he was always doing something weird. I mean, if it wasn't for him, Black Arachnia wouldn't even exist. He tried to manipulate Black Arachnia's growth to be a Terracon of his level. Oops. Oh, that's just his gun. And I found that pretty funny. He's also a groomer. He's grooming Black Arachnia for evil deeds, and it just didn't stick, thanks to Silverbolt. I mean, good grief, though. Silverbolt is just too much goodness. He totally outperformed Tarantula's darkness and stuff and his evil behaviors. So that's enough little backstory on this guy. He's a lot of fun. He is one of the more unique Transformer scientists out there, and I've always enjoyed the Transformer scientists and the engineers and the Transformers. And yeah, I'm very happy that we get one that is a Terracon. Good luck finding another Terracon who's as intelligent as Black Arachne. Not Black Arachne, Tarantulas here. So let's get into Tarantulas' actual description and talk about their form, because I did want to mention that. This guy is spot on to animation. Now, I wish that he had the chest piece that folds up to reveal the spark. I think that would have been cool, but oh well. He's got, and I keep just dropping his guns off. Where's your other one? Let's just talk about those, okay? We're gonna talk about his guns. He's got so many arms. It's difficult to figure out where the guns are and all of these arms, but he comes with two accessories, and they both combine together in only one way or two ways. You can also set it up so that it's sticking up. Hey now, go into the home. There he goes. Yeah, look at that. These are a crossbow, like a bowcaster that Chewbacca would use. It definitely kind of feels like that. It's a neat little crossbow. And though I don't really remember him using this all that often in the show, he was more of a fan of using his leg guns. Ah, man, sugar, a hair got in my mouth. Anyway, the other one here is really fun because we don't get many things like this. This is a saw. We got another saw with 86 hot rod, but this one is a static saw. It doesn't spin, and it has a siege port in it, so you can combine the saw to your bowcaster. Boo boo boo. Yeah, and it doesn't really stick together too well because it's not a very deep siege port right there, but it does work. It does work. That's pretty neat. And not really much more to say about these. I do like the texture work on this saw. I do appreciate the fact that these aren't rubberized weapons like G.I. Joe's been doing. And yeah, that's about it. Really nice feeling textures, though. Really great sculpt work on both of these weapons. And, I do want to say that I am a bit saddened that I slept on Tarantulas for so long. This has just been a going back over things that I missed over the past couple of years and picking up the ones that I heard really good things about, and I just wished I managed to pick up. So that was his weapons. Now let's talk about him in general. So articulation wise, this guy, he's got some decent articulation, but at the same time, it is a little annoying. So you can raise his arm up, but his arm is connected to all of these legs. So that is kind of an issue. And his elbow's really far down here. It's like right down here at this area here. No, that didn't describe it to you if you couldn't see. Let's see. Go down 2 fingers from 1 second. Itchy ear, itchy ear. Okay. So we're gonna go down 2 fingers from there, and that's where we get our elbow joint into a very small claw thing. There's no forearm here. That elbow joint just goes directly into the claw, and that's for a little bit there. I was wondering, like, did I miss an elbow joint anywhere? Because that feels like it's just more of a hand joint. But nope, that's the elbow. So his hand is the lower part of his arm, sadly enough. But it does rotate. He's got a nice rotation at the elbow, if you want to call that an elbow. Now, uh, raising upwise, it doesn't raise up further than 45 degrees, but it manages to, let's see, can it rotate 360? Yes, it does. It rotates 360 at the shoulder. Now, the head here is on a ball joint, so it can wiggle back and forth. It can look up slightly, it can look down slightly, and it can spin its head around. Not much more going on with that. You can't even really get a full rotation in his head. So coming down here to the waist, we've got waist rotation, not 360 degrees though, because of all this back kibble he has. Then the thigh here, which is a little loose. I don't like how loose that thigh is, but he's not a very heavy transformer, so it's not too bad. But that is kind of a loose thigh. And then his other thigh, good rotation there. Let's see. Yeah, you can kick up at almost a 90. He can kick back at a little more than a 90. He can kick sideways at directly a 90 degree, and that's all he can do there. Now, he does have double jointed knees, which is really good. He's got a swivel at the thigh, which is excellent. Then you come down here to his lower leg, and he's got upwards and downwards motion on his foot pad, and it's got the ankle tilt to it. So that's his general articulation, not to mention the fact that each one of his little arms here is on a little ball joint. So all of his tarantula arms are on ball joints, which allows them to rotate around and face forwards, because if you didn't know this about tarantulas, every one of these little arms, 4 on each side, is actually a gun, and he can use these to shoot at things. He just folds them all up on either side of him and then opens fire, and he's just a wall of bullets. It's kind of wild. He's definitely, as a Terracon, pretending to be a predacon, he took on a form and manipulated it in such a way that he is an army of one, because when he needs to escape, he needs to escape. He needs to get out of there. I mean, that's the thing about spies. Once they're found out, they need to get out. Find out, get out. What's up with spies, and that's him in general. So that's all of his articulation. Decently articulated, but definitely not the best in articulation. His articulation is definitely going to take him down by 2 points, because I think it could have been a little better. I think that maybe this hand could have been raised up a bit more, and then you would have actually gotten a hand joint for this claw, which would allowed you to manipulate it a bit more. You could bend it at the elbow and then rotate the claw 360 degrees so that you can actually have it set up where the pointy bit of the claw is facing downwards, because that's how he typed. Instead, you've got to kind of lockstep the entire arm and get it stretched out there so that he can type pointy. Because if I remember right, he did just use the pointy claw to do all the typing. Um, when he ever did any work. So he was two fingering it, and I bet you that annoyed the crap out of him. I bet you that was his biggest annoyance about this form, was the fact that he had to two finger his typing. And as a as a spy who's obviously good with computers, two fingering your typing would just be hell. So let's get into sculpt work now, and that will be finishing up the video. The sculpt work on this guy is decent. Like you like these little insect feet kind of sculpt. It feels like carapace for his actual robot feet. You come up here, you've got this very sleek metal feeling leg with a double jointed knee that I absolutely love. I do love this double jointed knee, and I like the spike he's got on his knee pad. It's a lot of fun. Sculpt work up here at the thigh. Yes, there is sculpting at the thigh. There is a lot of sculpting at the thigh. They didn't forget it this time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They didn't forget the sculpt work at the thigh. I appreciate that. I always love it. Now let's see if they forgot the sculpt work at the bottom of the foot. And no, not really. There is a little waffling down there, but there is a siege port. And you know what? For his foot this small, it does manage to do the job. Like, look at that. I set him down, and he just sits down. I'm surprised that feet this small work for him. Yep, and now he fell. I'm just surprised that they work so well being so small. Oh, the reason he fell is because his loose thigh went out into a direction. So continuing going up here at his waist area, we've got what feels I'm not sure if I'm remembering right from the game, but not the game, the show, but I think his eyes for spider mode were around his waist. But I don't remember that for sure. It does kind of feel like he's got spider eyes going on down there though. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Is that texture I'm feeling his spider eyes, or is that just more spider texture? I'm not 100% sure about his thigh area there. Now coming up here, we got his crazy bulky chest. I mean, that's how I remember this guy. Now, I remember him very well because he just had this bulked up chest. Like, look at his pectoral muscles. This guy lifts. He lifts a lot. And right below it, we've got some nice texture of his abdominal muscles going on there, and that's really fun. That's really cool too. I do love how they managed to get all these textures, and the fact that it's kind of hairy feeling, like he's got a hairy chest, and he's a tarantula. It's filled with hair, but it's neat that they sculpted the hair onto the chest, and I didn't ever even think about that watching the show because the 3D animation was so terrible. But I guess Tarantula was supposed to have a hairy chest as well. He was supposed to be a man's man of a spy. Giant pecs and a hairy chest, yeah. So coming up past his hairy chest, we've got, and I know one of these pectoral muscles, he's got his Terracon symbol. And then we come up here to his face mask, which is really cool. He's got a unique face. He's got this big eye glass thing that goes all the way around. It reminds me of a GM from Gundam, the Gundam Gem model. It had that nice little, glass that went all the way around the head. And then we come down lower, and we've got all of this texture in the face. It's a really good face. That is a really neat face sculpture too. I really like that. And I do also like the fact that I not like I dislike the fact that they didn't give us the cool mask ability that he had, like being able to fold up a mask. Like, excuse me, you can take and move his tarantula butt down, and that will give you enough space. Move the butt down. Good grief. That'll give you enough space. Come on, give you enough space. There it goes. To pick this piece up, and then you can have it come down over his head and act like a mask. I mean, this is now hooded Tarantulas mode. Yes, he has worn the hood of shame. And it's even got a little slot there so he can see out of it. I just like that. I think it's fun to be able to fold the tarantula head up over his and give him a hood. Yes, we call this executioner mode. You know, he only wears this when executing Autobots or Maximals. So we're gonna slip that back in and hide that back underneath his tarantula butt and give it very low clearance for the tarantula butt. And we're about to talk about the tarantula butt. So let's get over here to these arms. Each of these arms is very sleek, not many textures going on, but it does have the spider leg feel to it. Each one of these arms is kind of exactly the same, even to the point of that little bend at the ends, which I do wish that they had managed to put a little bitty ball joint at the ends of these so you could point them forwards for his gun mode. That is another negative on him, and I think I'm going to have to take a point off that you can't face his little toes forwards to do the really cool gun mode. And so that's 3 points taken off him so far. Let's get over here to the arm itself and talk about the sculpt work there. Surprisingly, it's a little blander than his legs, but we do get some neat stuff going on the side. We've got some sort of like upper arm band going on there. We got a nice little elbow joint that's hidden amongst all this clutter. And then we get his claw, which is decently sculpted, and they even went in so far as to give it little ridges on the inside, which is really cool. And I like the fact that it does manage to hold 5mm ports. And now flip him around to the back, and this is where all the kibble is for the tarantula mode, but they folded it all up nicely so that it just is this. It's the back part, the tarantula butt as I call it, and that's it. Like that's everything else is folded underneath it, and I like that. I do like how clean this backpack area is. It's just this hairy tarantula butt, and they did do a decent job sculpting on the hair there. Though I do wish they had managed to just take that fun weird hair texture from Optimus Primal. Man, I'm gonna have to take an air purifier to this entire house. This winter months have just brought up the anyway. I'll deal with that later. So yeah, that's Tarantulas here. He is a decent little figure. I do like all of these things about him. I do enjoy the fact that I now have the mad scientist of the Terracons in my possession, and he is truly a mad scientist. Now, finishing touches on this guy, my final thoughts and feelings is I'd give this guy a, let's see, how many points did I take off? 3? Yeah, I took off 3 points. So this guy's going to get a 7 out of 10. And that's mainly due to the fact that he is such a good representation of the tarantulas that we got in the Beast Wars show. This is good. This is really good. And like I said before, I hate that I slept on this guy for so long. He is a fun figure, and he is a good addition to your collection, especially if you're trying to fill out your fill out all of your roster for Beast Wars. But I've lathered on long enough about tarantulas. I hope that all of you have a wonderful day out there, and please, once again, go below and like this video, share it on all of your social medias if you don't mind, because I don't have a Facebook, and if you shared it on Facebook, that would be phenomenal. Thank you for doing that. And yeah, go out and have some fun today. Don't forget that. Do a little chores and spend some time for yourself. Watch a nice movie, eat some popcorn, do something. Play with your Transformers. Until next Pride, bye bye for now.